Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe Panther III. And man, tonight I have a gentleman for you that is doing a lot of big things, and he's got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about tonight. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to my guest tonight, Jason. Jason, welcome to Dudes at Ringside. Welcome.
Jason's Klaus, but it's Jesse.
Yeah, what's
Stop
going on, man?
Jason.
Yes, what's up? Sorry, dude.
No.
So, um, um, if my internationally known fans are not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, recently I was wrestling at LVW in Kentucky in August for 2 weeks. Um, as you can probably tell from the accent, I'm from the UK. I wrestle in the UK, and yeah, I've been wrestling about 18 months now. Getting my name out there more, and hoping to come back to the States sometime soon as well.
Wow,
So that's a
that's
bit about
awesome.
me.
That's awesome, man. That you had a chance to come to the the States. So let's go back before we start going forward on that excitement that being at OVW. Um, what was it like? What made you get into the wrestling business?
I think for many of us, it's a lifelong passion, isn't it? I mean, at least that was for me. It was something I was always interested in, and as soon as I turned 18, I had a look at what wrestling was about, found a training school that was nearby, and just took it from there.
Mm, awesome. So, out of your for the person who trained you, like who trained you in the wrestling business?
Initially, I trained with Al Snow's Wrestling Academy in the Midlands in the UK. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, as far as I'm aware, Al Snow has like a few affiliate promotions like throughout. Like he has some in the UK, he has some in Europe. I think he's got some in America as well. Like I think there's one in like Utah or something like that. So yeah, there was one in the Midlands, which is where I live. So found that one, had a look, went there, and yeah, trained there initially, and yeah, also trained at a place called AWW, which is run by, well, one of the head trainers there is Dave Mastiff, which some of you might know in America. He's wrestled in LVW and wrestled on NXT UK and stuff. Then I've trained at Aspire Wrestling as well, which is based in the UK, and one of like a UK mainstay wrestler is one of the promoters there. So yeah, that's where I was trained, and then obviously went over to LVW and trained with like Doug Basham and Cashflow and whatnot.
Wow. So, out of the all the people that have trained you along the way so far, what kind of information did you get for them to put into what your wrestling style is like?
Yeah, one thing I found important was learning from different people, because I find that if you learn from different people, you pick up different things, and you can sort of put everything together. Then if you like one thing, you can take that from that person, take this from another person. So I think one thing I found good was that when you learn from a variety of people, you can take things from each of them and sort of mold it into your own thing. And I find that's how you get better, really. So yeah, I've picked up things from Dave Mastiff when I've trained with him. I've done seminars with Shah Samuels and Zach Knight, otherwise known as Zach Zodiac, and yeah, picked up things from all these different people and sort of molded them all together. And yeah, you just get little things from everyone, really.
Awesome. So, what kind of wrestling style would you consider yourself being?
Um, I'd say mostly it'll be really whatever's asked of me. I feel like I can always give it a good shot at any style, really. But typically, I'll try and be quite hard hitting, some high flying sort of style of wrestling, if if the venue allows it, really. Um, Quite technical, and yeah, really, really whatever I can get in. because you're going to work all different types of venues. Some of them are going to have low ceilings where, I might not be able to do things like frog splashes and stuff. So you've got to change it up sometimes. But yeah, I'd say I can give everything a go, but mostly hard hitting and high flying, I'd say describes me best.
You said the low ceiling, and I really thought back to I went to a show in February with my dad, and it was in like a dance hall, and the ring was
Yeah,
so low it was on the floor. Yes, it was
yeah,
on the floor, and I was like, I said to my dad,
yeah,
"Man,
something like that.
I'm glad there's no luchas here today because they'd be taking their heads off." Like,
Yeah.
like let's talk to you about you were just at OVW. What was it like to be on in the States, getting a chance to get like them to like work with you here in America?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was a really good experience. Really good experience. Um, so much to say about it, really. Like, going to the Davis Arena and working with the wrestlers out there. There's, like, as I said, I've only been wrestling for 18 months, so I haven't got that much knowledge really. And then, getting to work with people like Cashflow and Doug Basham and talking to Al Snow and learning things from him. There's so much out there and so much to learn from those sort of people. And they've got some fantastic wrestlers there as well. Like, I was in the ring with Star Rider and Will Austin. They were fantastic wrestlers. I was in the ring with Big Zoe and Niles Garvin, who at the time they were the tag champs when I wrestled them. Um, Brilliant. And then I was in the ring with Kripke and Manny Domingo, Cal Hero, Nakeem. They've got some brilliant wrestlers, and it was amazing to be in the ring with those sort of people.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool to know that like you're in the UK and you only been in the business for 18 months, you said, and you
Yeah,
already got a chance to get the taste of OVW. That's amazing, man. That has it
yeah.
hit you yet? Has it hit you yet? Like since you've been back in the UK, that you were actually were filming the Netflix special. Like, has it hit you yet?
Well, I wasn't myself in the Netflix special, but it was really cool to
I mean,
be
where they
there
filmed
and
all the stuff where they filmed it, like the where you were, like you're like,
well,
wow.
yeah, yeah. I was watching it back when it came out because it came out like a few days after I'd come back to the UK. And like watching that back and seeing like, oh, like I know this guy and I trained with this guy, I wrestled him, I've been there. Like, it was really really cool to see that. It's really strange to see that as well because I'm there sitting in my living room watching TV of a place I've been to and watching people that I know, people I'm friends with. Like, it was crazy watching that, really crazy. And I think it definitely hit me watching that, 100%.
That's cool. Like that's so cool to know that I'm now talking to a person that was there. Like he actually got a chance to be at the OVW facility. Also, shout out to Al Snow. Hey Al, like he's been on the
Yeah.
Dude podcast. So like, do you ever have like thoughts of going to the States on like a tour to like go to different like parts of the country?
Oh, 100%, yeah, yeah. It's definitely something that I'll want to do sometime soon if I could. Obviously, I'd love to return to LVW, and when I went there, I was only there for 2 weeks, but I'd like to do something a bit longer there next time. So that'll be one, and then I'd love to tour around. Like, I know Cal Hero's dad has a promotion as well in Wisconsin, so that could be another one I'd love to do. I think, well, in Indiana's not too far from Kentucky as well, so that there's promotions there. In general, I'd love to wrestle all over the United States, but yeah, for me, I'd 100% want to come back to LVW. I think that'll be the main one for me, and then try and get a tour if I could. Yeah, that'd be the dream.
Yeah, that's like the dream. Like I know a lot of wrestlers, hence like I've interviewed with Alfie, Kiara, people like that. Is there any other promotions from the UK that you have not wrestled in yet that you've been wanting to wrestle in?
Um, There's some for the bucket list, I'd say. Um, in the UK, I'd say our major promotions probably Progress Wrestling. You might have heard of them. That I think they were pretty big in the US as well. There's ICW, who are based in Scotland.
I know them.
There's also Rev Pro as well. They're a big one. So they're sort of the main three promotions. I haven't wrestled for any of those three, but um, within a couple of years, I think that'll be the aim to maybe get up to that sort of level and be able to wrestle on those. So yeah, I'd say that's probably where my goals are in the UK, to sort of get to the top of the UK indies. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in Europe as well, and flights from the UK to Europe are pretty cheap, pretty short, an hour, 2 hours. So I'll definitely want to wrestle around in Europe and see what's there too. 100%.
Even though you've only been in the business for 18 months, do you have any like fun stories from any shows you've been in?
Um, got quite a funny story here. At LVW. I did a house show there during the summer tour. It was in Middlesbrough, Kentucky, and it was me, Doug Basham, Cal Hero. No, not Cal Hero. Sorry, me, Doug Basham, Morty, Joe Mack, and Nicholas were in the car. And for anyone who knows Doug Basham, they'll know farts a lot, man. Farts a lot. And on the way there and on the way back, so he'll be talking about something, there'll be a conversation going on, he'll go silent for a few seconds, and you'll hear the doors lock, and you're like, oh. And then the worst smell in the world will hit you about 5 seconds later. And yeah, scrambling, trying to open windows, trying to open the door, just trying to breathe. And
Oh
it's just the worst smell in the world. But then Doug will deny it, and he'll say someone else has done it.
no! It was the truck in
So yeah,
front of
that
us.
was
Yeah, bullshit. I wish I
yeah,
had that kid in the. I wish I had that kid in the car seat. Bullshit. Bullshit.
yeah,
That's crazy. Oh
yeah.
my
For
god.
my nostrils, that was the most painful 3 hours ever.
Bet you he blamed it on
So
the
that
fair
was quite
food.
a funny story.
I guess one of the
Yeah,
blames were fair food. It was the fair food.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Bucky's brisket sandwich. I think that's what did it. Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
going
Oh
to
my.
Bucky's.
So for you, what is a week of like a wrestling show like in like your like? How do you plan everything out?
Like how do you plan a match?
Like no, like
So
plan it out. Like, what do you have planned? Like the workout, like food. Like, how do you plan your week out when you do it before a show?
oh, okay, okay. So like in the UK at the moment, I'll plan out going to the gym 3 times a week. So I'll do like push, pull, legs, sort of get everything in then, and train twice a week. So that sort of covers Monday to Friday. Um, so normally, if I can, I'll do like say push at the gym, do a training session the next day, wrestling, then might do legs, then training session, then do like pull. And then the weekend, I'll either have that as like rest days, or if there's a show on, it'll be the show. So that's sort of how I plan my day. And in terms of like food and stuff, at the moment, I'm probably trying to put on weight. So I've been eating like 3,500 calories a day. So yeah, I've been trying to get the protein in, just try and eat more and try and put on some weight, because I'm not the biggest person really. I'm like 5'10", 5'11", something like that. And I think definitely for going back to America, I definitely want to be a bit bigger. So definitely trying to pack on the pounds at the minute. So that's sort of how I schedule things. Yeah.
Like for you, when you go to these like shows, like before the event, would you consider yourself eating the chain food, like the McDonald's or Wendy's, or do you go to more like the mom and pop places that are in the?
I'm not really into like chain food, like takeaways and stuff. It's just something about them. Just when I eat them, I sort of, oh, they just make you feel a bit bloated and a bit, oh, not very healthy. So normally I'll tend to prepare food, like I'll take some ready meals or just do like a salad or something like that, or some sandwiches. That's normally how I'll do things before a show. But if there was like an instance where I didn't have any food, I'd most likely probably go to a supermarket or a local shop and just get like a meal deal or a little ready meal or something like that. But no, not really into chain food, to be fair. At least not before the show anyway. Like maybe after the show if I'm like really hungry, but before the show I definitely wouldn't, because it just makes me feel a bit bloated and stuff.
Yeah, it tends to make you feel like you can't do what you're supposed to be doing in the ring. That kind of messes you up.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
do you ever pack anything before a show, like a little to go container from whatever you had at home?
yeah. Sometimes, yeah. More often than not, I will. Yeah, I'll normally obviously take a few water bottles because after a match you're usually pretty thirsty, and you never know if there's going to be access to a tap necessarily. I mean, usually there is, but there has been times where there isn't. So, yeah, I'll pack some water, pack some food, and yeah, normally I'm pretty prepared.
For you, like, what is like your what when you go to these shows, do you ever like try to find anything in the town to collect? Do you collect anything from the shows or like on your own?
Um, Sometimes fridge magnets are the one for me. Yeah, particularly in the States. I had one for like each city I went in, like from the airport normally. Like I had one from Boston, Detroit, um, where else? Louisville, Richmond, Kentucky. I got one as well. So yeah, it tends to be fridge magnets for me.
Have you been to New York yet? Not yet.
Not to New York now, no. Definitely
Mm.
one for the future though. It's one I want to go to. Yeah.
There's a lot of good promotions here in the New York area. I live in Pennsylvania, so there's one that
Oh,
I know
okay.
that's a really big name. You should put it in your little book. And when you ever come to Pennsylvania, they're called PPW, and they do a lot of their shows live on Fight TV.
Oh, okay. All right. What's
Yeah.
PPW stand for? Which one's that?
It's I forgot it, I forgot what it stands for, but I know it's Pennsylvania National Entertainment. That's what it is.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yes,
I'll
they
keep an eye out for that one then. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good. I went to their 100th show and their anniversary show, and the crowd was just amazing. They were always jumping up and down, screaming, always reacting. No dead air. All the crowd didn't need that fake WWE ad cheer here.
Yeah.
Like they were always jumping up and down, making noises. So, one show, I think it was the show we went to. No, it was the 100 show. They actually literally kept going, like keep it going. Like they kept, WWE chant like "Fight forever,"
Yeah.
like throughout the whole match. That and the match they kept going "Fight forever." The ladder match was insane. It was a young wrestler from there, and the guy got backdropped into the ladder, and he just. I was like, did you just die? I was like, no. So getting to that kind of thing, is there any stipulations that if like a promoter came up to you and said, "Hey, I want you to do this kind of match tonight," would you be for it, or like you're like, I don't really do those kind of matches?
I haven't had a situation yet where I've turned down a particular match type, but I think there's a few things I probably would be a bit iffy about. Like I thought thumbtacks will probably be one of them. I don't like the look of thumbtacks, but
No.
yeah, that's one. Uh, Fire type things as well. Like when you see like Mick Foley going through flaming tables and things like that, that's probably another one I would be a bit iffy about. But yeah, I haven't had a situation yet where I've turned anything down. Like, I've done matches with chairs and ladders and cage matches and stuff, and I'm all good. I'm all good. But I think thumbtacks will probably be where I'll draw the line.
Yeah, that sometimes I watch these kids do this hardcore matches, and I'm like, okay. And then I watch clips of people doing death match, and I'm like, okay, that's my spot.
Mm.
That's my train. I get a part of the
Yeah,
train I get off the wrestling train. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the safe part of the city. I don't want to die on that side of the city.
yeah,
Look too. I'm not going to part of the hard wrestling world. I'll stay away from the death match city. No, me and you get off there.
yeah.
Stay safe. Um, do you before we go, if there's any young male or female that wanted to become a professional wrestler and like they needed advice, what kind of advice would you give them?
Um, I would say, um, firstly, obviously you want to get to some training, don't you? You want to find whatever training schools are local. You want to make sure they're reputable. Make sure there's opportunities there. Make sure the training facilities are good. Head over to training. If you get opportunities at other places, if there's if you get opportunity to go on a seminar with like a big name wrestler, go for it, man. Just follow your heart, really. That's the main thing. Is trust your gut, follow your heart, and just give it a shot. Give it a shot. Never be too afraid to do something. Never be too afraid to try something. Um, just give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? I suppose that's the only advice I can give, really. You've got to believe in yourself in order to get anywhere. So, if you want anyone else to believe in you, you've got to believe in yourself first, haven't you? Really, and
Yeah,
that's the best advice I could give.
I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, taking my opportunity. Um, if any of my fans would like to do anywhere on social media, how can they find you?
To find me, just search for Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler. Um, just always remember Jesse is spelled Jesse. There's no I's in there, no Y's, just Jesse. So Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on YouTube. Those are the main three for me. And yep, Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler.
Thank you so much, Jesse. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
I'm Jesse Dynamite.
and we will catch you in the next one. Have a good day, everybody.